danger's an invisible wall. Without even knowing, I'm a fireball. No combat, no damage, no fancy tricks. Just flying low and level turns my ships into wrecks. It's not the pirates, no, they're out of sight. It's not my skills, I'm flying just right. But over a canyon or a crystal clear lake, my ship goes boom. This isn't a joke, for fuck's sake. The sky looks clear, but the danger's an invisible wall. Without even knowing, I'm a fireball. No combat, no damage, no fancy tricks. Just flying low and level turns my ships into wrecks. It's not the pirates, no, they're out of sight. It's not my skills, I'm flying just right. But over a canyon or a crystal clear lake, my ship goes boom. This isn't a joke, for fuck's sake. The sky looks clear, but the danger's an invisible wall. Without even knowing, I'm a fireball. No combat, no damage, no fancy tricks. Just flying low and level turns my ships into wrecks. I hit the throttle, but it's all in vain. No way to escape this invisible pain. 1 second I'm flying, the next I'm toast. Guess I'll just add it to the bug report post. Now I'm staying far from planets and moons. Deep space only, where I'll meet no doom. No more low flights, I'm playing it smart. Just running missions where I won't fall apart. The sky looks clear, but the danger's an invisible wall. Without even knowing, I'm a fireball. No combat, no damage, no fancy tricks. Just flying low and level turns my ships into wrecks.
Alright, welcome citizens, thanks for joining me for yet another Captain's Log. I'm your Captain Kelbeck, in command of the H.N.S Watch Tower, Drake, Kraken, patrolling the Pyro system. Today I've got with me our Quartermaster, Master of Logistics and Cargo, Dr. Krendor, one of our Fighter Squadron flight leads, Stompy, as well as our Watchtower's Chief Janitor, cleaning up intruder bodies, Nocturlus. What's up, guys? Alright. So we're sitting here in my ready room like we do every week, where we talk about the game we all love. Of course, that term is used loosely at the moment. I figure we might start today's Captain's Log with the topic of first day experience in Star Citizen and the learning curve involved. I mean, not a whole lot of people talk about that. You see all these like beginning guides and stuff on YouTube and stuff, but you don't really hear anyone talk about the actual difficulties. Just do this, do this, do this, and you'll be fine. Right? So, who wants to start with this one? Alright. You pleb. Bless. The bless his soul. Is that because he's still lost to the void? All right. Krendor, what about you? Do you even remember your first day experience as Star Citizen? What's that? Wow, you're like down to the date. That's a good number. 30. Oh, I played all the way through 318. I regretted it, but right. Which, if you haven't seen it, you can go back in this channel's live and see what we talked about last week as well. Um, Knock, do you by chance remember your first day in Star Citizen? I the first one? I feel like that's most people's experience. I feel like most people just try to play the game, realize they don't have a strong enough computer, and realize just how lacking their computer is until they upgrade. Then they come back like 10 years later and go, oh yeah, this is actually a pretty good game. Look, we don't go there, okay? We don't go there. Well, good. That's a ship that needs to die over and over again. Has anyone noticed that the 100i is not like purchasable on a regular basis? I don't know. I very does it? I don't know. Every time I go looking at it, I always see the usual starter packs, but I never see it. I mean, I could be wrong too. Maybe I just have luxury blindness and I just completely glaze over anything that's luxury. Sorry. Okay. That bastard. It's always the arrows. So your first experience was trying to figure out how to get out of your hangar and then getting rammed by an arrow. I mean, it's a really good. I think honestly, it gets its bad rap because it looks like a penguin. I mean, there's that too. It just hasn't been gold. I mean, you would think that as one of its premier like um, starter pack ships, that it would have some kind of thank you. Uh, I don't know, love from the devs, where they go, yeah, this is a really popular ship that everyone like really pushes people towards. Maybe we should gold standard it. I, those don't compare. They don't compare. I think I started. It doesn't, and in fact, that's where I was going. I don't remember my first day, but I do remember my first experiences, and I picked my starter based on the things that I felt I was gonna want to do. So I picked a Pisces, and I was like, I can fight in the C8X, no problem. It's got 4 guns. I can take on a Mustang. No, Mustang wins. I still had fun though. I don't remember like honestly, I think I've got so much trauma from my first days playing that my mind just tries to block it out. So I just can't recall any of it. I think I've just got too much of that trauma going on. So I can tell you that my first time playing, I'm pretty sure I spent a significant sum of time trying to figure out how things worked. And just like every player, uh, trying to get out of your hangar. Now, mind you, this was after I came back. When I first started, my computer, like everyone else, could not play the game. Absolutely could not. I do remember vaguely some explosions from Port Olisar, where I was trying to. No, so it was Port Olisar that I was had spawned. I think it was Port Olisar that I spawned my ship on. Anyways, um, I'd spawned on a pad and I was just trying to lift my ship off and fly forward, and I had no clue what keybinds were, and I was too stubborn to go and open up the keybinds and figure out what they were. Next thing I know, I'm propelled forward into the wall and explode, and I was like, what the fuck? And when I finally did lift off the pad, I was somewhere in a solid, I don't know, I want to say 5 frames an hour, something like that. I don't know. It was pretty bad. Like I had to slowly turn my mouse to slowly turn my camera because I would move my mouse, wait for it to catch up, move my mouse, wait for it to catch up, move my mouse, wait for it. It was bad. They have, I think it was 319, the 319 update that significantly changed my frame rates from like mid 30s to mid 40s as my range up to like 60 to 100. And then they optimized it more in 320 and 321 with different I forget which one it was. There was one patch where they updated and no one noticed, but I was going, "Oh my god, the lighting. They've changed the light, like the subtle lighting. Like you could tell, like you'd roll your ship and you would just see the light roll like yeah. I mean, you would see it before, but like it was very pronounced now. It was very, very noticeable, and it's something that catches my eye. Yeah, I think so. It caught my eye so vividly because a lot of the things that I do whenever I play other games, especially survival games, is I like to do indirect lighting. I like to do things that accent the thing I'm working on. And so whenever I saw the light as I would roll my ship, from the sun or whatever light source it was just it. I wanted, tears. It was beautiful. Anyways, no, my first day, I don't recall my first day, but I can tell you that the learning curve from that day forward has been significant. Absolutely significant. There's been so much to learn and process. I'm a very stubborn person. I very rarely reach out to other people and ask for help. One, because I have more of an accomplishment when I figure it out on my own, and two, I don't trust people. So there's that. Um, But my learning curve, I'm gonna put a picture up, and I'm an Eve Online player, so this picture's been with me for a long time. Um, but I feel that the experience that I had in Eve Online and the starting experience that I have in Star Citizen is very much the same level of complexity, and it's still growing. Like they're still adding more shit to the game to add more complexity to it, and they're not making it any more simpler. So let me just pull that up real quick. Um, right there. So here you've got a picture, um, and it's got a couple different MMOs listed here, and then I can't reach it. I go out of frame. You have Eve Online. Now, Eve Online is in black, so all the other lines they kind of have a nice gradual uplift and then kind of you know level out. Eve Online, it just goes into a steep climb, goes vertical, doubles back on itself, creates a drop off suicide ledge, and then plateaus. Basically indicating that once you have learned all of that information, you have to learn it very quickly or you're just gonna die and like not want to play. Um, I would say so, yeah. I mean, once you get to that level where you feel you understand enough or all of it or most of all of it, you kind of plateau. And the rest of it you just pick up because, you've got the basics. But there is a period of time where you feel like you want to kill yourself because there's just so fucking much and you just don't understand it. I love bunkers. They're still my favorite. The originals, the OGs. The OG UGFs. Everyone was always like, oh, I gotta go buy armor. I'm so broke and blah blah blah. And I was like, why are you broke? What are you talk? Why are you buying armor? I don't get this. I would go into bunkers just completely naked and I would knock everyone out and I would just take all of their shit, load up my ship, and then just fucking dip back home and offload it. And then every time I die, I've got armor and weapons. Also, don't mind me. The stream time cuts into dinner, so I eat on stream. So I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm a what? Shh. I can't believe you figured it out so quickly. God damn it! I'm gonna have to kill you guys. I can't let you live after the stream. I'm gonna have to take you out. Oh, absolutely. Like why would? Okay, I think this ship is grossly underappreciated. I think it's gonna have a significant impact in gameplay, and almost no one has it. Very few people. If the ship is running away, it can literally just deploy sentry turrets in its wake. Just sentry turret, sentry turret, sentry turret, sentry turret. And guess what? As you're flying by, you're getting hit by sentries while you're trying to whittle down the aft shields of this, beastly Nautilus until it crosses its own border, and then you get harassed by the fighters. I mean, if it can come about and get you, but yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of like tactics and stuff that this ship will bring about that will adds some interesting spice to the game. Anyways, um, so on the topic of learning curve, what would you recommend to new players joining the game from your own experience to help them kind of get over that learning curve a little bit easier? I'm a guide. I 100% agree because I mean I'm again stubborn person. I just kept going because I like the concept of the game. But if I had someone to play with every single day, I think the game would have been a lot more enjoyable for me in my early days. So I fully support that. If you are alone, look for someone. It is not hard to find someone to play with. Just even in general chat, be like, hey, I'm new to the game. I would love to fly with someone who will take me on. And you will be surprised. People will literally they will come out of the woodwork. Some of them will even pay you to come along with them, just because. There are some nice people out. Then there's those dicks that now, if you're new to the game and you join someone and then they shoot you in the back and they walk away laughing, okay, that's like 1 in 100, roughly, I think is. Um, I don't know, man. They some of their members are pretty shisty, but for the most part, if we go on an individual member basis, I would have to say that there are some. If you go on the whole, then yeah, you're right. Definitely not.
Make your life hell. That's just their thing. They're dicks about it. There's nothing really to be done about it other than like the devs, do what they can to temp ban them or ban them or whatever, like give suspensions. Just any kind of it's out of your hands is my point as a player.
So
It's
I'm
just something
Yeah,
you
the
learn to
best
deal
thing you
with.
can do is just not react to it because most of the time
Yeah.
that's what they're going for.
I just want to let you
Yeah.
guys know that I've been griefing you guys this whole time.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, I made sure that I
Did
was
you
the only
forget
one
to hit
heard.
record?
No, no, no. We're live. We're 100% live. But a lot of your guys'
You are
opinions have
live.
been gone by the wayside. Um, but no, everyone can hear you now. And we're not gonna go
Oh,
back and
okay.
we're not gonna go back and talk about any of the other stuff. I mean, I know what you guys said, and I think that's enough, right?
Yeah, the
I
whole
think
the whole
the whole
streaming
point
it
of
to an
this,
audience thing doesn't matter.
yeah, it's not like all of this is for the audience.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But no, sorry about that,
But
guys.
yeah,
I just noticed it was
for
grayed out. I was like, why is it grayed out? I'm pretty sure I unmuted both, and then somehow when I transitioned from one frame to the next, it remuted. I don't know.
it's okay. Um,
That's fine.
so for the learning curve, I think what I would suggest to a brand new player is identify what gameplay you want to be proficient in, or like what interests you. And if it's anything to do with flying a ship, which if you're not interested in flying a ship, this might not be the game for you, frankly. Um, go into Arena Commander with your ship, whatever it is, and just fuck around with it. Blow it up, mess around with the controls, do literally anything you possibly can to it. get to know that ship before you try to take it out into the PU. Become
Especially
comfortable with it.
because in AC,
That's a good advice.
it's free to do. It's free to blow it up as many times as you want.
Yeah. Literally, you blow up your ship, you respawn 10 seconds later. That's the nature of Arena Commander. It is a in-universe simulator. So like within the context of a video game being a simulator, it's a simulator in the simulation. So you have total freedom to do whatever you want to do, and it's a perfect place to learn how to mess around with the ships and control them.
The only thing it doesn't teach you is
even
takeoff
for
and landing.
Yes, yeah. Although
you
you
say the only
can
thing
do that.
it doesn't teach you is how to stay safe in a starfare.
Yeah, that too. Especially if you get out and you like hover a lot of ships around it, and you've got like maybe 8 or 9 people inside that are trying to do FPS things when Star Marine exists, which is the FPS simulator. But go into the open PvP lobby and then complain when we get killed. Anyway, you as a new player,
You sound like that's some actual experience that you've had. There was very
Let's not
vivid
get into
description.
let's not get into it. As a new player, you should absolutely fuck yourself any way you can in Arena Commander.
That sounds personal too.
Yeah. Like I
I
think
agree.
failure is a great teacher, and you should definitely fail over and over in Arena Commander. And then when you stop failing to do whatever it is you're trying to do, whether you're on a map that has ground that you can try to take off and land from, or if you're just trying to fly around some asteroids, or if you're trying to kill Vanduul or pirates or whatever it is you're trying to do, once you stop fucking it consistently and you feel comfortable, that's when I would say you're open to transition to the PU. If you don't want to be fucking up in the PU, of course. If you want to fuck up in the PU, then by all means go and do that. But if you're uncomfortable with that kind of failure, because it is way more taxing to do it in live servers than it is in the simulator, I would say follow that route.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the persistent universe can be extremely daunting for a brand new player, and so to kind of limit the scope down to kind of just a small arena
Yeah.
where you can fly around with your ship and get used to it before you actually exit the hangar is a good suggestion. And then like Nox said, um, find a buddy. Even if you don't have any buddies, go to general chat, and people will want to fly with you. People will even give you pointers. People will give you money. I mean, don't count on that part. People really hate it when you ask for money, so don't ask for money. But
Yeah,
if you go, hey, I'm new, I'm trying to learn the game, sometimes randomly you'll see your wallet inflate. It's weird. But yeah, don't go begging for money. That's a sign of a poor person, and we don't like poor people. Um, but yeah, people who want to fly and who wanna experience the game and want to have fun, there will be players that will pick you up, fly with you, help you out, figure out your controls, figure out what kind of game loop you might like. A lot of people will pick you up to do the industry side first, so things like salvage and mining. If that's not your shtick, obviously you can go kick it with the fighter crews and the PvPers and stuff like that. But I would not recommend PvPing in your starter ship. I would do something else first until
What are you
you get the
talking
ability
about?
to get a fighter ship.
My Pisces. What are you talking about? My Pisces is a perfectly capable combat
Pisces is a
fighter.
perfectly capable fighter ship. I agree.
It really is.
Funny enough, there was a jump town that oh man, I think it was my very first jump town, and I was down inside in the facility, and this facility was actually being protected by a group of people. Um, One of them happened, and they were all random by the way. They just grouped together, and one of them happened to be in a Pisces, a C8X, because the C8R didn't exist then. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and he took out a Vanguard.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
especially
don't ask me how. That Vanguard pilot must have been absolute garbage, but somehow
Well,
the Pisces won.
that, and also before master modes, the Pisces expedition could run circles around them. 'Cause,
Okay.
like I remember one time at I think it was All-Star then before that whole thing. Before it got quote unquote decommissioned. Um, there was
Rest in peace,
someone that
Port
was
Olisar.
just, you know, you may not live on in the verse, but you live on in our hearts.
Pour one out
Absolutely.
for Port Olisar.
But anyways, I remember he was just running around harassing people that were getting off the pads, and I'm like, dang, you're doing all that in a C8X. I was like, as much as like the harassing people as they're leaving pads is a hot topic for some.
I mean, that's a big no-no now. It wasn't back then.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, it's
yeah.
a big no-no now, but even then,
Oh.
back before it was against terms of service. 'Cause it
Well,
wasn't. They
that
weren't. They weren't
depends.
ramming them or shooting them while they were on the pad. It was as they were leaving.
Then there's no problem. That's perfectly valid gameplay. You're holding a station hostage, not
Mhm.
breaking any rules.
But
If you were pad ramming, then that would be breaking rules.
yeah.
Yep.
But back on topic, I was more impressed with just how long like he was managing to survive just evading.
I mean, I never figured
and
out
he
the
was,
I never figured out the
he
ship
was
well enough to
doing
do that,
damage.
but I have seen people do it.
Yeah.
I used to do that in my M50, and it was fucking amazing because
Well,
that
that's a
ship was
racing ship.
nimble. Yeah, but like that ship, if you knew how to fly, you just would not get hit. It was great, and I miss
Yeah.
it so much. But yeah, it's still pretty impressive in a Pisces. I know that I've never flown one that well.
Yeah, no kidding. Me neither. I usually just run stealth components. I'm like, please don't notice me.
Yeah.
Don't notice me, senpai.
All right, it's been nice knowing you guys. I'm gonna go anywhere but here.
Huh?
Stompy, what's
Yo.
your advice for someone starting in the verse to overcome the learning curve of Star Citizen? Because I mean, we all know that the tutorial in the game,
It's hot garbage.
it guides you on rails to get into your ship, get out of your hangar, go to a station, and land. After that, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, you got Nock, who has a suggestion of fly with someone. You have Krendor with the suggestion of enter the arena commander first and kind of get the feel for your ship
Mhm.
before going to the PU. What's your advice?
Honestly, shoot. I mean, they touched on really good points, and there was some highlights. Honestly, I mean, I honestly can't think of any because those are actually the points that I was going to touch on. Not gonna lie.
Well, is there anything you
How
can
dare you
build
lie.
off of with them?
Well,
How about from like FPS? Like, what would you say if somebody was interested in doing FPS and they were brand new?
major hotspots if you want FPS and you are very trial by fire. Always look out for bounty hunting. People will talk in the chat. They usually tell you where locations at, or people will find them basically. Or if you can get their marker, grab a bounty, you'll see where they are, track them, easy. But if they're in space, well, a little bit different. But if they're at any of the security post stations, more than likely you're gonna have a good time. Other than that, I mean, try all the different guns, try all the different weapons, see what most resembles to the ones that you use in your other in your prior games. You'll eventually find the ones that you like and feel comfortable with. And then, I mean, other than that, I mean, always having a buddy and communicating is going to make it a lot easier. Otherwise, you're going to be having your headphones maxed out and sound hogging the whole time. But it's definitely very intense, very tactical, and it's
Especially
not some
now.
bum rush game. Yeah.
Yeah, because now that the AIs actually have the server performance to run well,
Mhm.
you
Oh.
can't just run through it, knocking people out left and right like you used to.
I mean, I'm
Yep.
still gonna try.
Of course.
Yeah, of
Always have to.
course.
Fucking send it.
Because if I can clear a whole bunker just by knocking them out, I mean that's a badge of pride right there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you know how to check how the server is performing and you see the server at a certain FPS range, you know it's going to be an easy time. If you like a bit of a challenge, have those try to get onto those servers that have a higher server FPS basically. I was kind of touching more along the lines of also in PvP aspect because I never played a lot of PvE FPS. It was always Call of Duty, a little bit of Fortnite, Apex for me, so it was always something going down basically, right? But it was also just W Key City. This game, if you get into PvP combat, it's not quite like that. If you ever enter into events that the game does host, for example, Jump Town, it's very strategic. You can do it solo. You can have a good time solo, but it's a very, very big game on patience and a little bit of luck, but definitely a good time overall.
I mean, good luck getting in with your ship because
Exactly.
if you're gonna fly in with a starter, you're gonna get like plucked from the sky real quick.
Oh, definitely. Me and Puff have ended up running from like literally 2K, 3K out, parked our shit, dropped it basically, and just ran the entire time, and actually got some good profits off of it. So, I mean, if you can steal the other person's ship while you're at Jump Town, power to you. But it definitely ease on the safe side or air of caution when you're at Jump Town because they're gonna have heavy everything: fighters, bombs, guns, tanks. Even yes, there are tanks in Star Citizen. Go figure, right? But at that, it just
Tanks.
makes the experience more lively, um more that kind of catches your eye and makes Star Citizen as unique as it does.
Storm AA with flechette missiles.
Waka waka.
Okay. Man, I don't even know if I have anything to add to that. Like you guys just hit some really good points there for beginning people. Honestly, a lot of what I learned came from YouTube videos. So if you're like me, I'd recommend hitting YouTube. Use key terms that you're gonna want to explore. Like if you still don't even know what you want to do, like if you look at the game and you go, oh my god, the game is beautiful, and you go, okay, what am I gonna do in the game? Like that's how I was. I looked at it as like this is a beautiful game. I like that ship. I like that ship. I like that ship. I'm a ship collector. I like collecting ships. Just that way I can set them in my hangar and look at them and go, oh, this is pretty. But I mean, ships got to function. So it comes down to which ships are you actually going to use, right? So you got to know.
Right.
Eventually, you're going to have to settle on something, and the best way to do that is to kind of get a good idea of what you want to do by watching other people. And the best way to watch other people is from YouTube. People put up a lot of good content. There's not a whole lot of people who stream. There are streamers for this game, but not many. Primarily because it's you know, a sandbox world where, it's not hard to find people. And so to prevent them from being stream sniped, a lot of people just make videos and put them out. That's how I am. I'm not a fan of streaming, but at the same time, I'll do, I'll do podcasts. What you see here behind me, this is actually past gameplay. This is when our alliance took an Idris, and we held it for
127 hours consecutive.
I believe all the Idrises we held during the course of the event totaled to 10 days, 7 hours.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 7 days, 10 hours. I had it backwards. 7
Yeah,
days,
yeah,
10
yeah.
hours. So, this particular clip, if you stay long enough, you'll actually see us fight another player-controlled Idris, and that was a very exciting experience.
Yes, it was.
I had so much fun. Which that ship.
It was probably the most fun I had in Star Citizen since I started playing, honestly.
Yes,
No, I
100%.
agree.
When capital ships come out and you have a reason to have a crew aboard and you have a reason for that crew to actually scramble around and do things, um, it is
With
going
engineering.
to whatever. Engineering, hangar crew, fucking fighters coming and going, refuel repair, rearm, security for those would-be boarders that we exterminated every single time they attempted. Um, just working with people. This experience right
Yeah.
here gave me so much joy and excitement for this game because I mean, as you can see, I spent a lot of time on the map, mostly because I was appreciating like the ship, but I was also figuring out different things like when someone walks through one of these doors, you physically see that door open on the map. And if it's not a party marker and the door just opens and closes, it's an intruder. Which, in this situation here, all my party markers are actually bugged, so, I couldn't see anyone. But, yeah. Flying this Idris was amazing. Flying it, being a part of the crew, getting in a gun turret, like, every part of my experience aboard that Idris was enjoyable. I got to fly it, I got to shoot someone with a railgun, I got to, be in one of the main turrets. I got to sweep the ship for intruders. That crate right there, we supplied with armor and weapons and stuff like that. We made sure that the Idris was well stocked. Like, it was a very, very enjoyable experience. And to anyone who's looking to get into Star Citizen, I would suggest not focus on the single player aspect of the game, because if that's what you're focused on, you're going to be deeply disappointed. While there are some elements that are still able to be played solo, CIG is very much pushing in a direction of pushing players to play together.
Oh yeah.
So, and this ship right here is a great example of how fun it can be. The thing that's not fun is actually what we're pulling up to do right now, which is refuel.
Oh my
that
god.
was such a
Don't
pain in the
even
ass.
fucking get me started.
You'll spend a half hour
It's
refueling that
so
bitch,
long.
and that's at a half tank.
And that's if you land it correctly.
Don't
Fucking
forget
it
about
was
repairs.
you had to land it so specifically every time. And if you were even like a meter off, it just wouldn't work. And it was so frustrating. You would spend as much time trying to get it to land right as you would refueling the fucking thing.
Or I
It was
remember back when I took a shift flying it, just the risk of getting too close to the vehicle pads, because it, like, especially with how slow that ship moved, if you saw that timer pop up, you had to go as fast as you could or it would get impounded.
yeah.
And because it's not a player, it wasn't a player ship.
You don't
Like,
get it back.
you would just been SOL.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I had a few situations like that too. Whenever I was skirting the corners of the Pyro Gateway station.
Oh man,
Like, I was cutting it real close. But the cool thing is, like, because we were hostile, because we were engaging other ships and we were red, and most of us aboard had crime stats. The turrets of the station would shoot at you, and because the turrets would shoot at you, the point defense guns on the Idris would shoot back and destroy the turrets.
Yeah, it was so funny. It's watching them fucking automatically destroy. Like, okay, this is a tangent, but the Idris displays, that blade technology can fucking work right now, and I don't know why CIG won't implement that.
Blade technology mean the automated point defense systems?
You automated turrets in general, not just point defense, but yeah, the point defense system clearly is using some iteration of AI blades, but they won't give it to us for our remote turrets. It frustrates me. That I just needed to get that out there while it was a little relevant.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
for the sake of your rant and the relevance of it, I support your need for AI blades.
Yeah.
I think part of that, the reason why they haven't is for that same reason. Going back to, they don't they want to emphasize the multiplayer aspect. Um so if they I'm
Sure.
guessing they want to try and balance it so it's still far better if you use actual
I mean, it'll always be
living
better if you
people.
use real people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
significant enough to justify it while
I
still not
just
making it completely infeasible to run a ship solo.
I think for new players, it would be very significant for them to add in AI blades because, like, think about if you are a solo player just because you don't have any friends yet, and it's like your
True.
first week playing the game. You have, I don't know what's a ship with a remote turret. You have like a 400i,
Or
right?
like get like a Cutlass Black even.
Yeah, a Cutlass Black. You have a Cutlass Black. You have a turret up there that accounts for like a third of your overall firepower. And as a solo pilot, you can do some work with it, but let's be real, you're not really going to get the full effect of the ship without the working turret, whether
I
that's
mean,
by a person or an AI blade. And I think that it would be really good for new players to have that kind of automated system available. Not
I mean,
necessarily that they have to use it, but that it's there for them.
if you were
Yeah,
to use
kind of like how Elite has it.
yeah, if you were to use the
Excuse me.
Scorpius, half of its firepower is connected to the second player seat.
Yeah, that's an even
Yeah.
better example for sure.
But yeah, I mean, having AI, like if you were to, do quote unquote first generation AI blades, where you could just plug it into your ship's computer and have remote turrets be operated by the AI, that would be so much better because the I don't think it should work for manned turrets. I think
No,
AI turrets. I think
I don't think
remote
they're
turrets
planned
should be
to.
enough.
Yeah,
Well, I
I think
think
they're planned only for remote turrets or like
okay. Well, I thought
specifically
you could.
designed turrets.
I thought they were also planning on making it so you could hire crew.
Yeah, but
That was
that's
talked
a
about.
technically different thing. And
Yeah.
it'll
Okay, yeah,
probably
that's
use
not
the same tech.
blades.
Well, look at it this way. The way that the NPCs work in ships now is they have a version of AI blades that's not the same as what we would be getting, and like the CIG has been clear about that. But like they have some iteration of blade tech. Like that's the NPCs that are in ships that you see are literally just placeholders so that it makes sense of why the guns are shooting for someone who doesn't
Yeah.
know about AI blades. So like they exist, just not in the way that we would need to for are like a new player's purposes.
Yeah. Or just not in the way that they want us to have access to.
Right. Yeah. It's very much just an NPC thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Um. So the Idris, what's the cost of the Idris in the store right now? If you were to try and buy one, it's like 1,200, or is
I
it?
think it's
N- uh,
1,200 if you were to buy it
War bond, it's 1200,
War Bond,
1500 more like with credit.
1,500. Yeah, but also good luck getting it with store credit
Wait,
because
no. Isn't it 1500 with the war bond and then
no,
1700 credit?
I thought it was
I thought our lovely like Watchtower was the $1,500 ship.
I
no.
can't keep it straight. They're so expensive across
I
the
think the
board. It's
Kraken is
insane.
like 2,000.
Is the
Yeah, I
Kraken
can
2,000?
I can look it up. real
No,
quick.
the privateer is like 1700, I think, is what I might be thinking
Okay,
of.
then I might have them swapped around.
Yeah, no, okay, I looked it up. War bond, the Idris P is $1,300 standalone. With credit, it's 1,500.
Okay.
Okay.
So that I guess brings us to another topic we can kind of talk about. How do you think CIG is going to fund their game after they launch it? Because right now they're kind of crowdfunded in the sense of they're producing ships and they're selling them. And they talked about, and I don't know if they're going to do this, but they talked about changing up their model once the game goes live. So I guess the question
Yeah.
is how are they going to change that model, and how do you think they're going to earn enough money to sustain this extremely detailed and uh, amazing game.
Fortnite.
I
Think
So-
about the Fortnite business model. I think it's going to be a lot like that, where it's a lot of cosmetics.
So you think we're gonna have like fuzzy llama-headed Idrises flying around?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
we're
maybe
gonna
not
have
like that,
Minecraft
but like
Steve
Star Kitten.
skins.
Yeah, like Star Kitten Idris. Like there's the
Oh dear
I think
God.
it's like a fan render of the Star Kitten Hammerhead, where it's like pink and it's got the fucking kitten all over it. Like people would buy the fuck out of skins like that, and I'm not even kidding.
You're not lying.
I would
They
buy
would.
one.
Why?
I would buy one
Why?
because it's sick. Could you imagine an Idris coming up to you and it's got like kitty faces on it, and you're like,
It's
"Oh, what the
basic-
fuck is this?" And then
Oh.
it starts
It's the
rocking your shit in. Like, come
It's
on,
the
that's
in-universe
hilarious.
equivalent of getting your shit dunked on by someone
yeah.
with Hello Kitty accessories.
Yeah, right. Like that would just be fucking hilarious.
Go back to playing Hello Kitty Island Adventures.
yeah, yeah. So I think skins. I think armor sets. I think furniture for sure is going to be a big thing. Probably stuff like land claims and maybe insurance on your ships. But I don't know about
Yeah.
that one. That's
I
like
could
kind of
see
iffy.
that.
So,
yeah.
do you think they're gonna go to a subscription model?
That's what I was thinking.
No.
Honestly.
I think absolutely. They would
There's
have
nothing
to.
better than constant money coming in, and there's nothing more that marketing and the banking world, especially, and with my background, that the subscription service is the most genius idea ever. It's just a matter of them nailing down the different tiers and different worth of all the products they're going to be marketing, basically, to be bought. That's
I
how they're
agree
gonna
with
make money.
that.
If they fail to execute
Yeah.
it, they're just screwed. But the subscription, because I mean, how many subscriptions do you guys have? And it's not utilities. Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus,
Well, even like
SoundCloud, even.
I have a current like Star Citizen one, and I'm doing it right now because I support the game. But like, $10 or $20 a month for like right now, like they definitely need to get that figured out before they could. Because like right now, you get access to a ship of the month, and you can buy it when it's not artificially withdrawn from your ability to purchase. What do you fucking do?
So
Here's the thing. We have to consider what they're selling right now and what have been selling for the last 10 years are not access packs, they're game packages. Like when you buy a ship with a game package, you are buying access to Star Citizen. Like that's a blanket license that they give out. Obviously, they can change that from a business perspective.
That
However,
that
for
would turn the
people like
community
me,
on them.
and I'm sure all of you to your own extents who have put on, let's just say, 4 or more figures, I don't think that I'm going to want to pay a subscription to play the game that I've already put thousands of dollars into.
and that was
I
gonna
don't
be my
think that
next
I would like
question.
that.
That was gonna be my next question. If you're already like, if they do put in a subscription model to fund the game, and let's go out on a limb here and just say that they're not gonna sell ships anymore. I mean, that's not
Right.
ever gonna happen, but you know they've said that they might do that, so let's just
Let's
take them at
let's
their
say they
word.
follow through.
Let's just assume that they're
And so they put
Not-
forward a subscription model, and let's say that subscription model or that subscription price is in the range of, I don't know, $20. $20 a month.
I
Would
would
you-
not pay it.
Would you pay it to play?
No, because I've
No.
already put in several $1,000s. Why
I
should I
would.
have to do that?
because even though I put in all that money, I wasn't required to put in that money to play the game. That
Right. It's to
I put in
support
that money
project.
to support them. It wasn't. So it's like the majority of people don't put in that amount of money. A lot of people just put in the base package and are happy with it.
So are you saying that so long as the subscription service is a voluntary thing and not a necessary thing to play, that you would still use the subscription service, but if it was made necessary to play, that you would stop playing?
If they forced you to have if they changed the way you access the game from buying a license to access it to paying a subscription to access it, I would refund all of the money I would have available to refund from the project straight up. because then I would use that money to pay for the subscription. Because guess what? I don't have the money to have thousands of dollars tied to a game and then give them $20 a month on top of that. That's insane to me.
All right, so let's go along this line then. What if anyone who has a lifetime insurance on their ship also gets lifetime access to the game?
That's
and anyone
perfectly
who
fine.
doesn't
would
would have to pay a subscription service to play.
I'm perfectly fine with that, because just
Yep.
on an individual selfish level, that means I don't have to pay the subscription and that I've already put my time and money in.
Okay, let's go another route. What about what if it's a free-to-play game, but a subscription service would give you extra benefits, kind of like what they have now, but more to an extreme, kind of like
Kind of like what they do with a lot of other like MMORPGs.
well, kind of like SW Tour.
Yeah. Okay. So like when you play Star Wars Online, or Star Wars: The Old Republic, when you reach like, what is it, level 25, you start getting half XP if you're playing it for free.
I forget what the details are, but something like that.
Yeah. So if they did something like that, where like, I don't know what the equivalent would be for XP, since this game doesn't have leveling systems in it.
Thank God.
I think I would be okay with it, with the caveat that the money I put in circumvents that still. Like, I don't want my game experience to fundamentally change just because the company is deciding that they need more money.
Right.
Because I've already given them tons of money.
Now, anyone watching, keep in mind that all we're talking about is completely speculative and has nothing to do with any kind of leaks or any kind of news that we've heard. We're just talking about all the different ways that they might try to fund the game in the future, whenever the game becomes quote-unquote full launch.
I believe a good way to put it is we're all basically just talking out of our ass.
Yeah, this is all speculation, like you said.
I just I want to
Oh,
clarify
this as well.
that because we do have 2 viewers on the channel, and I don't want, rumors to go flying and go, oh my God, they're gonna change their model and blah blah blah, and the next thing you
Yeah,
know, they're blaming us and.
No
No,
such thing
we're-
is happening currently.
So, but okay, so give me a scenario, each of you. Let's start with you, Stompy, since you've been the most quiet. Where you would be okay, like, give me an example of a model, a business model that would sustain the game that you'd be willing to take part in.
Honestly, the subscription thing kind of hits the nail on the head. But if you've spent over X amount, kind of like with your concierge, previous to the game being fully released, you should either get a discount, or if you're, let's say, like Praetorian, right, 10,000, 5,000 and above, then you should get the game for free. You shouldn't have to pay that subscription service. But I do wholesomely believe that they're going to go with that as a business model in the future. It's just a matter of when, because that's the only way businesses are able to sustain themselves nowadays, basically. But
Well,
Can I add something?
I don't
real quick before
disagree.
forget?
Yeah, sure.
I think I want to add something on that. One thing that I think would be cool to see would be, instead of being like, oh, you now have a lifetime subscription, basically just like whatever you put into it, you get that much money worth back in months of subscription.
That'd be interesting.
Which for some
Yeah.
people it effectively is lifetime, but for others who've only spent like
Well,
200 or 300, that would still be a couple of years.
I'm sorry.
Here's my
You
question.
didn't buy the $48,000 package. You don't get lifetime game.
Yeah. Here's my question for that. Would that count months that you don't play the game? Like, let's say you take a 6-month or a year or longer break towards the game because you want to do something else, and then you come back to it later. But
And your time's
the
all
money
run
that
out.
you've had built up, yeah, it ran out while you were not playing the game. Is that something that you would be okay?
You should have
with?
been playing.
Yeah, you should have spent all of your time and effort onto one game instead of playing other games. Is
How
that
dare
something
you.
you'd be okay with that
should have
system?
should have become your life. What are you doing having a life
Yeah,
outside
fair.
of it?
Okay, I can't argue with that. You can't argue against an irrational point. So, kudos.
It's just interesting. It's just interesting to get some ideas on the table to kind of figure out, kind of like, I mean, I know it's just 4 of us here, but ultimately, in the long run, there's going to be players that will see or have similar thought processes of what is acceptable to play the game and support, future production of the game. So, I mean, just kind of getting some ideas out on the table. Obviously, I highly doubt CIG is ever going to see this and actually take it serious, or if they do happen to see it, they're probably just going to like, I don't know, not listen to any part of it. But, um, I mean, just
Say your thing.
rationalizing it in our own heads, trying to figure out all the different ways that they could potentially try and fund the game is useful because then whenever they do it, we're not blindsided by it. And we know that
Right.
to some degree, I mean, it's 2024, and from what 2015 to now, it has just been a year after year increase of which studio can top the other in douchebaggery to screw over the player
Yeah.
base. Okay. So we know that there's going to be some level of scumminess that's going to happen when it comes to going to a live funding model. The question is, what do you think it'll be, and whether you will consider it acceptable enough to keep playing? I mean, I personally will probably suck it up and keep playing regardless of what it is because I do like this game, and the only thing that'll stop me from playing is if they keep it in a buggy mess even after launch. If they cannot get their shit together after launch or even up to launch, right? I probably won't
in
keep playing.
beta. Like, I think my biggest issue with that would be like if they can't fix their netcode issues, because right now
Oh God.
they're just stacking stuff on top of an already faulty netcode.
Speaking of, when 3.24.2 drops, it is going to be a big update.
Yes. Did
And
you know that it's in the 4.0 code base?
yes, the reason why it's so
Supposedly.
big is they're adding the 4.0 base code base to it. Uh, that sounds redundant, probably because it is, but they're adding
Yeah.
the 4.0 code base to it in
The
preparation for
skeleton, I
actual
guess?
4.0 launch.
Yes.
Yeah. Which personally I'm excited to see because that means some people can probably data mine some stuff from it.
Oh, they already have been.
Yeah.
From the
My
PTU?
man, if you are not on Pipeline, get stuff on there. Take a look at it later. I'm not gonna get super into it, but one thing that I do want to bring up that is significant, there are mentions in the files for passenger capabilities, like
Oh,
actual passenger gameplay in the Zeus specifically, and there are mentions of the Spirit One in the files.
oh,
So
nice.
that tells
on
me passenger gameplay is coming.
on
I don't know
top
about
of
you.
that,
It tells me.
on
It
top
tells
of that,
me rip Genesis Starliner owners.
Yes, it's exactly what I'm alluding to.
right? So, Krendor, um, your people are in the
Yeah.
game files too, in the sense of a Vandal kingship.
Yes. 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 You know, I used to identify
Wait,
with the Banu, but I don't think the Banu are coming anytime soon. And my perspective has changed greatly. I'm very much into the randomly killing things.
You
well,
know,
you know
I
what?
Vandal
If they're
lifestyle.
if they're bringing if there's stuff on the kingship in the files, I wonder if we'll see the reworked Vandal ships anytime soon.
We
let's
will see them when Squadron 42 comes out. That we do know.
Okay.
Yeah.
let's just say that the Vandal kingship shield face is in the 8 digits.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. I mean, that makes sense. It's literally their flagship.
It's more than a capital class ship. It's its own ship. It's
This
like
No,
literally
yeah. It's like
it's not comparable to any other ship, not even a Bengal.
no,
Like
the
comes
UEE
close to it.
Navy literally had to make their own ship to combat it. It's called the
Yeah,
Retribution.
which fucking amazing ship by the way. It's just a flying railgun. It's like a
It's beautiful.
it's like a 3 kilometer long flying railgun.
You know what?
It's
I
like they
actually just
took the
watched a video on that recently. Let
they
me see
took
if I
the
can pull up a
Idris.
picture.
They took the Idris and they went, "This isn't enough big fuck you
Yeah.
energy.
What if we made
We
it
need
bigger?
more."
What was the name of it again?
Retribution.
Yeah. Which I will say, Retribution just sounds like the name of like a 40K ship.
Right.
It is 2,700 meters long. It is 700 meters wide and 400 meters tall.
I'm pretty sure if we're
That's a big bitch.
if we're crossing franchises, I think the Executor is like only like 2,000
Okay.
kilometers.
Yeah, the Star Wars Executor.
I'm gonna put it up on display here. Just 1 second. The picture that I found is it in dry dock and being built.
Yeah. That's the one on the wiki.
Yeah. 1 second. There we go.
Okay, no, the Executor is 19,000 meters long.
That thing, even in its current condition in that dry dock, is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Although it would
Oh, you
take
know
me
what?
at least an hour to run from bow to stern.
Pretty much.
Helbeck, I'm gonna see if I can. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm gonna show
Well,
you a model
point-
that somebody made at one of the China bar citizens.
Oh
that you
yeah,
can put up.
I remember that. Oh, I remember seeing
It's
that.
fucking incredible how big this ship is.
It is nuts. Didn't they have another ship to show as comparison?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like they did. Oh yeah, they do. I don't know what that is though.
What did they have to compare?
I don't know. Here, I'll send you the link
Okay.
too. It's some like spider looking ship. I have no idea what it is, honestly.
Huh.
It doesn't look like a Star Citizen ship, but there is something.
So,
Okay. Well, then maybe it's just.
my guess is that railgun shoots little Kraken projectiles.
Yeah. I was thinking like an Idris.
Yeah. No, I was thinking like it. Like if it shot flechette rounds, those flechettes would be constellations.
Oh yeah.
All right, let me get this image up.
Yeah, once you get that up, it just as a
Oh wow,
reminder.
that's hold on, let me resize this real quick. That went
Yeah.
well off screen. Okay.
Just as a little reminder, the length of this ship in game is 2.7 kilometers. So picture how big that is relative to the scale of this thing. This model.
2.7 kilometers is like 2 miles, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Because like
at least.
it's funny because I was wrong about the Executor, but like it is almost an entire kilometer longer than a standard like Imperial Star Destroyer from the original trilogy. Which is just fucking nuts.
So yeah, so game files are for. In fact, if you browse YouTube enough, and you've seen Board Gamer's video, he talks specifically about how 3.24.2 is contains such a large file. Basically, what happened was when they downloaded the file for Evocati, someone actually asked a dev going, hey, why is this so goddamn big? And they responded with, well, that's because there's 4.0 code base in it.
It's like, here, have a 4.0
What?
skeleton.
Yeah.
You don't say.
It's running on the 4.0 code base for sure. So that tells me there's probably going to be maybe a 324.3, maybe for IAE,
Well,
or possibly IAE will be 4.0.
I don't. Well, I think because I think their plan was to get 4.0 to Evocati testing this year.
Yeah, probably
Don't they
after
still-
Citizen
Don't
Con,
they
if I
still
had to
have
guess.
IAE signage up? Like they never took it down?
Shit, I'm in game right now. I can just go over to
Go to New Babbage.
I can go to New Babbage and check.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they still have it in Area 18. I have no clue where they're
yeah,
going to be
I know
having
the
it, but
ILW stuff is still there, which I think is also just
that's retarded. Like they
hilarious.
should have taken it down like with the very next patch, and they didn't. They've had like 3 patches and hot fixes to take that shit down.
yeah, There's no excuse for it at this point.
I think they just don't care.
Retardation.
But anyway,
That's like the person who leaves their Christmas lights up all year long.
Hey, it just means that there's less work for them to do the next year.
lazy.
Lazy, yeah. But so capital ships coming into the game, with
Polaris.
yeah,
I
with
think the
4.0
Polaris,
aside.
I think a lot of people are gonna be disappointed with the Polaris.
Actually, I think people are
I
going to be very
disagree.
happy with the Polaris, especially after the new proposed changes.
It has
Oh?
size 6 turrets.
They gave it two.
I'm sorry. What?
They gave
It
it a
has size
single.
6 turrets.
They gave it a single size 6 dual bespoke cannon on the
Oh
nose.
my. Wait, bespoke. So it's hard mounted, which means it's
hard
probably
mounted,
pilot
you can't
guns.
swap it.
You can't take it off.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh right, that.
So on
It's
top
not,
of
probably
having,
not going to be pilot guns.
yeah, probably not. It might be a remote
Probably
turret from
not.
the bridge, but on top of having size 10 torpedoes, which must be manually loaded, you also have a twin size 6 bespoke cannon. On top of that, all of the manned turrets have also been upgraded to, I believe I was told, quad size 4s.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
so
accurate.
it's basic. So it's basically got the same turrets
As a
as
hammerhead.
the hammerhead.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And on top of that, it has, I think, 6 size 3 point defense turrets, and then like 3 size 2s, maybe. I know that there's a split. There's like, I think, 9 point defense turrets on top of that thing. So
Jeez,
like,
One thing I
it's
will
not
tell
gonna
you.
be. Yeah.
One thing I will tell you is that ship is still extremely vulnerable from the ass.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
I bet. 'Cause
also
there's
got
only
no
that
armor to
one
speak of.
turret. There's only that one turret above the above, like, just right behind the hangar, right?
Yeah, and
I think so.
that's it. And
Oof.
that's I mean, I think there is a isn't there a missile turret underneath that thing?
Don't
Possibly.
know.
Anyways,
I can't remember.
yeah. So it got a massive upgrade in terms of firepower.
That's good.
Which I think they're trying to keep it on par with the Idris, and I think the Idris armament, like what we saw with the Xenothreat Idris and how powerful it was that basic fighters couldn't take it out.
We're not gonna see anything like that. That was a specific event, Idris.
I don't
right?
know. I have a feeling
no, it's just the
now.
Idris.
I have a feeling now that that's actually going to be what we're going to get for the Idris.
Okay,
So,
because
they're buffing all of the other capital ships to match it. Okay.
Something to keep in mind is relative armor class. So like the Idris is the highest armor class you can get on a capital class ship. It'll be the same as a Javelin or a Bengal. It's meant to be heavily armored. The Polaris in the capital class realm is relatively unarmored. It's going to be very light in the armor department.
I imagine the only
it's
thing
meant
that's
to
going
be
to have
fast
less
moving.
armor than it
Yes.
in the capital class would be either Reclaimer, which is arguably subcap.
It is subcap. But it should be capital now.
So in terms of fleet composition, okay, and I'm kind of shifting gears here. In terms of fleet composition for let's say we're full launch. In every capital ship that they've announced is playable. So what kind of fleet composition would you run for patrols?
For combat patrols, I think I personally would go 1 Idris. Like we're talking just regular patrol, not like heavily patrolling an area, just like a standard.
Well, I mean,
are we talking like?
All right, let me put it this way. Let's call it a home fleet. Your home defense fleet. What is your home defense fleet going to be consisting of?
1 Javelin that the fleet centers around.
1 Javelin, 5 Idrises. That's it.
1 Javelin, 1 Idris. Okay.
Okay.
2 Perseus.
Okay.
1 Polaris. 1 Nautilus. and fighters to accompany them.
Okay.
That's where I would go.
So my composition wouldn't involve a javelin at all. I feel like the javelin would be too much for a home defense fleet. Maybe for an assault fleet, like if we were assaulting a station or a ground facility. But I think for a home defense fleet, I'd run a Kraken, an Idris, 2 hammerheads, and fighters that both the hammer crap fighters that the Kraken and the Idris could carry, which would be 11, 12,
Okay.
and that would be my home defense fleet. I would probably run a Nautilus in there too if we had the people, but based on numbers that I've seen so far, I would probably just run what I've suggested. I think the guns of the Idris and the Kraken should be more than enough for fending off any light fighter assault. The hammerheads also can be fighter screen. The fighters obviously, I mean, we can carry all kinds of things from Eclipses to Hornet Mark IIs to even medium ships like a Marquis, Zeus Marquis. So
Okay.
I think with that setup you could easily balance out a decent fighter squadron. The only thing I would lack is capital deletion. So
That's where I would put the javelin in there because it has size 12 torpedoes for that.
if I had to make up for firepower and have something that's anti-capital, I would probably ground the 2 hammerheads and shift all the personnel over to 2 Perseuses.
Yeah.
Well, on another thought is, I wonder if you'd be able to run any Ares, because that's their whole selling point is anti-capital.
Supposed to be, but have you seen how good they are?
They're not.
They can't even kill a hammerhead.
And
Yeah.
by the way,
I think a lot of that is probably to do with them still not figuring out armor.
I do want to just, my opinion on the Ares is that they suck balls, but I'm saying that while I literally have the Ares Ion desk mat that they sold, because I do love the concept of the ship. But
Well,
it's dookie right now.
You're such a shill.
Yeah.
I know.
Meanwhile,
Such a shitty ship, but I've got one.
I don't own one. No, I just have the desk mat. I melted mine long ago.
I was about to say, I got the Invictus desk mat. Does that mean I have to own a javelin?
No, I also have the
I would
Invictus
love to
mat.
own a javelin. I just don't have that kind of money.
So,
Yeah, fair.
I'm gonna fully admit, right? Like, it took me a while to get over my dislike for the asymmetry of the Drake Kraken. However, no, I haven't gotten over that one. That one is not gonna get gotten over. Nope. Corsair can go fuck itself.
Gun asymmetry in that thing.
I thought the wolf was ending for a second.
But no, the flight deck of the Kraken was throwing me off real bad. In fact, it still kind of is. But I rationalized it by saying, as long as I look at the back, I'm perfectly fine. Because the back is completely symmetrical. All the engines and the turrets and stuff around the back half of the ship, it's a symmetrical ship from the bridge back.
So in other words, you're saying, just stare at its ass.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Just like a hot girl, just stare at the ass. Although the Kraken's not a hot girl, more like a middle range, an easy 5. You know what I'm saying?
5, that's generous for the Kraken.
I know. I was trying to be generous. Anyways.
Well, then again, your 1 is probably the Corsair.
No, my 1 is not the Corsair. The Corsair is actually negative numbers.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But no, so let's see. We've got. Anyways, my point was that because I've only just recently gotten over my dislike for the asymmetry of the Kraken, I actually would not fly a javelin. And you're going, but why? It's symmetrical. And I would argue that it's not because the bridge is offset. And that one small thing of the bridge being offset irks me so much that I won't fly it.
I
So
have to
I'm
be real
guessing
with
you're
you.
the same kind of person that hates the look of aircraft carriers for the same reason.
Yeah, more or less.
I have to be real with you. That's a really stupid reason not to use the only ship that has size 12 torpedoes.
I mean, sure, but I mean, I have other reasons for not liking the ship. For instance, the
That's
engine
fair.
layout. The engine layout is extremely. I'm just gonna.
Short-sighted.
I'm gonna put it bluntly. It's a shitty layout. You
Yeah, I
have
agree. It's
you have
very
this
short-sighted.
massive, just absolute massive flat section of the aft of the ship, where you can take those little engine pods on winglets and move them to the middle inside the big thrusters. Cut those winglets off, put the engines in the middle, and call it good. And that'll be perfect.
Profile.
What about the profile?
What about my ship profile?
Look, unless you've got maneuvering thrusters out on the ends of those things to cause it to roll faster, which I highly doubt, I don't think those winglets could support the amount of torque or thrust, rotational torque. There we go. There's not enough tensile strength in those wings to support the tensile rotate. What am I trying to say? You get the idea, right?
I think
There's not
I get
enough
what you're
strength in the
saying.
wings for it to rotate with engines on the ends of
It
those
is-
wings. It
wouldn't
would
be
break.
It wouldn't be. Yeah. It wouldn't be sturdy enough to transfer those forces into the rest of the ship.
Correct. As soon as you tried to fire those thrusters, you'd snap those wings off. So the thrusters have to be on the main fuselage. But yeah, I mean, those engines just serve no purpose. I
agree.
would take those engines and put them in the middle, because they're the smaller engines, and so they're not going to be as deep, right? So you just shave off a small section of the back compartment, put the engines right there, and call that good. I think that
I
would be
just realized
perfectly
I'm-
fine. All the other winglets on that ship, I don't even understand why they're there, because it's not an atmospheric capable ship. And if it does go in atmospheric, those wings aren't going to do jack shit to keep it in the air. All it
I'll
is
tell
is
you why.
cosmetic flair.
That's exactly it. It's really cool.
But it's not cool. It's like, I don't know. I
Not
would
to
cut those
you.
off.
It's
I would cut those off
cool
and
to
be
the people that
perfectly
make
fine. It's called a javelin for a reason. It doesn't need those little flange winglet things, right?
The
that-
nacelles.
yeah.
Oh, it doesn't need those
No,
either.
I agree with you on that, especially with the nacelles, because it's, well, for me it's more, that's just another point of failure. It's like, look at the Mustangs or look at the Constellations before they made those nacelles like hard as a rock. Like those were or even the Cutlass. Those are the first points. Those are the first points to fail, and because it's an engine, it caused you to lose control or lose maneuverability, etc.
Yeah.
And when you're driving that much
A capital
mass,
class torque imbalance.
yeah, you don't want that. That is when everyone just gets smushed into the bulkhead.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I don't think there's enough.
I'm exaggerating for comedic effect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's enough newtons of force to cause that dramatic of an effect, but
But to my point, it's going to cause it to be very hard to control.
yeah, I agree. For those of you that just joined us, we're talking presently about the javelin, leading off of the conversation of what we'd use for capital ships for a home defense fleet. So now we're talking about our likes and dislikes of the javelin.
Kinda
Anyways,
very off topic.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's the whole point of this podcast, anyways.
Yeah.
Like we start off with a conversation, and we went through that topic. If you're interested, you can always after the stream go back and watch it. Um,
And
so
not
long
hear
as you
us
can
for
hear
the
these
first
guys, because
half of
for
it.
part of that you couldn't hear them. But then we
Yeah, it
just
was
trail
very
off.
fun.
It was such riveting dialogue that you only heard one part of.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was the only part that mattered.
Yeah, just you responding to
just-
people who, just you being your little schizophrenic self on screen by your on your
Yeah,
lonesome.
we don't actually exist. Like
Yeah,
we're
when
just
you
ignorant.
quote
You
unquote
guys-
unmuted us.
So
You
so
just
what's
you just
actually
plugged
happening
in.
here is you guys aren't real people, because I'm the only one on screen, okay? So all they see is me, and what they're hearing is just AI generated voices from my other alter
Oh.
egos. So I'm really just
I wasn't
talking to
gonna
myself
say
here.
that.
That's
I was gonna
right.
say that. I was gonna say you like, you figure out a way to, plug in a jack into the part of your brain where all the other voices are stored, and that's what they're hearing.
Okay.
There are
Anyway,
there are
we
little
are the
electrodes going
schizophrenic
through your
voices.
headphones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, back to the javelin. The benefits of the javelin are the fact that its broadside turrets are both size 4 and size 7.
Yeah.
So one person controls
they're not just
literally
size
2 sets
4.
of guns.
Those broadsides. Oh wait, no, yeah. I thought you were talking about the dedicated size 7 turrets. My bad.
No, so the javelin has is it 3 or 4 per side? But there's
It's 3, I think.
I think it's. I was going to say 4.
Looking
I
it
can look
up.
it up real quick.
anyways,
Yeah.
so one thing that we definitely know is one person controls two different sets of guns, and the size 4s are connected directly to the turret pod itself, while the size 7s are connected to an outer ring. And so the
It's 3.
turret. Oh, what?
It's 3.
Okay.
It's 3. Okay.
So the turret can turn and get to its destination before the size 7s can get on point.
Yeah.
Um,
You basically lay down suppressive fire until your DPS can make its way over to your target. At that point, they're already weakened by your suppressive fire, and then you just delete them. And you can do that 3 times over on each side. It's fun.
Well, I wasn't necessarily going to say that. I was going to say along the lines of basically what that is you have 2 different sets of guns for 2 different tasks. So your size 4s are for combating the small fighters around you, while the size 7s are for taking out larger, more deadly things from large ships and above.
Stuff like Persei, hammerheads.
Yeah.
Wait,
I mean,
Stuff.
is
six-
it
Even
6?
stuff like an Idris.
if you have one side of 6 size 7 guns, which is 2 per turret, all aiming at a hammerhead, for example, that hammerhead's gonna fold real fucking quick.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
And then there is the actual big turrets on the top and bottom of the thing that are separate from those broadside turrets.
Aren't those like
yes.
8s or 9s?
I don't think they're 9s, but I think they're at least 7s.
Yeah, I thought they were 7.
I don't know if they're 7s. One of you has it pulled up. Take a look.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me see where I guess the top deck. This is lore. Fucking, I don't want lore. I want stats. Anyway, yeah, just like whatever size they are, I think we can agree that it's at least 7, if not higher. Like,
Yeah.
they have full 180-degree coverage of both the top and bottom of the ship. They're going to be laying down hate on whatever the big target the broadside turrets are shooting at as well. So there's a significant amount of firepower coming out of that thing. Not to mention the torpedoes that it carries, which are
Okay.
unique to it.
So I've got you here. The javelin has 2 turrets with 4 size 9s apiece.
They're size 9. Okay,
Okay.
It
that's
also
pretty significant.
Yeah, that is
here's the
big.
odd thing though. It has 6 uh
Perfect.
6 size 2 hard points with 3 missiles apiece. I'm confused.
Missile turrets, or
Yeah, the missile turrets are size 2s. They're anti-fighter turrets.
okay.
Huh. Well, I mean, it does have the size 12 torpedoes, so
Yeah, I mean those are capital class
Yeah,
fucking
it
busters.
has 2 size 12 torpedo tubes.
well,
I believe the intention behind the size 12 torpedoes is to one shot the drillers, which are basically the Vandal equivalent of an Idris.
I think these stats are old because I mean
They
even though
must be.
they come right from the Robert Space Industries, but they haven't updated this page because it doesn't show
Quite
anything on the size
possible.
4s. It only shows all the size 7s, the size 9s, the 12s, and then the missiles.
That's quite possible considering. I mean, the last look we got it was Invictus. We got to see basically some of the broadsides,
All
and
right.
then some of the interior. Right?
Speaking of Invictus, who's
Oh
looking
boy.
forward? Who's looking forward to boarding and touring the Bengal carrier?
I'll have to
Yes.
see it. I'll have to see it first before I. Because if it's like if they've actually done it, then yes. But if it's just like a
Well, they did come out and say for CitizenCon this year at least, it's not an in-game Idris or not Idris Bengal. It's like a set that they've made at the convention center, but that very well could just be a one-to-one replica of a ship they've made internally. You know?
yeah, they could have just taken the 3D files and just had someone port it into Blender and 3D print it.
Yeah, for sure. If there is a Bengal tour at Invictus, I don't know how I would feel about that, honestly, because at the same time,
Considering they don't even have like the full javelin, at least as
well,
of
they do.
Invictus, they do.
No, they do. They want to save it for Squadron
Oh,
42.
for Squadron. Well, then
Yeah.
at that point, then I feel like they probably wouldn't for the same reason because isn't the Bengal also a big part of Squadron?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's
So
not that they're going to
they're all
launch the
tied
ship.
in.
Yeah, it's not that they're going
Well,
to
no,
launch
but
the
it's
ship. They're
just
going to just give a ship in game to tour. At least that's my understanding.
right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm. Right. I mean,
That's what we're talking
they're not
about.
gonna. Obviously, they're not gonna launch it because they've already stated they're not going to make it, player buyable.
Yeah, I think the only way speculatively at the moment to get a Bengal carrier is to capture one and repair it.
Yeah. Just-
Yeah, for sure.
Or get a blueprint and build it. But
Okay,
that
If you can do
that's
that, I don't know
that's
if the
purely
Navy would
hearsay.
ever allow that.
Yeah, I mean that's
I'm
purely
at this.
hearsay and speculation.
Well,
But
Yeah.
you might be able to like if you ranked up reputation with the UEE Navy high enough.
How
yeah,
high would you have to be for that though? Because it's literally their flagship.
guess who's not
be-
doing UE reputation?
Us.
This guy.
I don't know. I kind of, on some level, I do kind of want to do it just because I want to experience all this game has to offer. But at the same time, it's like a little too goody two shoes, you know?
I would
Yeah,
do
well-
I would do Aegis, Aegis, Anvil, and RSI are the 3 reputations I would try and work towards.
Well, actually,
RSI does actually make the Bengal, so
That's actually a thing. What maybe you have to like, because it's such a high level thing, you have to reach max, like maybe reach max rep with not one but multiple factions. So not
Yeah,
only
definitely a
UAE Navy, but
possibility.
also RSI, or and then any other like supporting manufacturers.
Let's see. Let's see where we're at with this stream. Um, Mainly because I mean, there's plenty more we could probably talk about, but I feel like we're kind of reaching the bottom of our creative bucket at the moment, and I do want to see this ship fight. I mean, obviously we were all a part of it, at least some of us were, I think. Um,
I think I was in the main turret. I think I was in the nose turret during it.
all right. So, anyways, um,
Okay. They do not have the IAE stuff up anymore.
Okay, good. Um, Speaking of the Navy, did you know the Van Duel have a ground vehicle?
really,
Yes. It is a mining and salvaging vehicle. It's called the Harvester. Um, it's
is it
probably my favorite thing about them.
is it an international harvester?
You could say that.
Because there's a
I
song
would
for
say
that.
I would say it's more of an intergalactic harvester. Basically,
On
the
my
function of this
intergalactic harvest. Oh, sorry, what?
the function of this thing, um think about a vulture, right? You find a ship, you scrape the hull off it, eventually you deconstruct it for construction materials. The ship is gone, right? Now, instead of a vulture, imagine a car, and instead of a ship, imagine a planet. But you do basically the same thing. That's what the harvester is.
Okay.
It's this like tank thing they've made that the Vanduul literally just will harvest planets. And that's how they get material to build their ships. And I think that's fucking fascinating.
Hang on, what do they do with it?
Okay.
So
So
instead of eating up asteroid belts like we would, they eat up planets and then use that material to build their kingships.
yeah, basically.
Okay, so they basically, instead of having the Orion, they just send a swarm of these little harvesters.
It's what they do planet side, yeah.
Okay.
It'll eat up anything, any matter.
It don't matter.
So they're starting to sound a little bit like Tyranids.
Yeah, you could say that.
So this is the part where we actually face the Idris, and if you watch my video from my other channel, which I won't be linking, you'll have to go find it. This is the missile montage section. It was just missile after missile after missile after missile after like this thing. It ate all of our missiles and kept going. Like Idrises are gonna be a fucking beast. But this Idris can't go anywhere because we've got it locked down with not one but two QEDs. Oh, without the editing, this fight is actually quite long, but we'll let it run. I
Yeah.
think we spent somewhere around close to a half hour fighting each other. I don't know. I feel like that's wrong, but it felt like a half hour.
I think, yeah, that sounds right considering how long it takes for those ships to turn.
Let's see. I am at... Okay, it was about 20 minutes. It was a 20-minute fight, roughly.
Okay.
But I mean, one Idris to another Idris, 20 minutes, and one Idris has fleet support. Like, we came in with 10 different ships plus 10 people aboard the Idris itself, and the Idris we came against had, what, 7 people on board? 5 or 7 people? Something like that? Such a beautiful sight. Look at all that carnage. Oh, I want to do that again. That right there.
I am so excited for capital ships to come out.
Me too.
I can't wait to see the fucking Vanduul capital ships. They look so cool.
that's where this game is going to shine. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who really love the fighter life, and I'm happy for them, but this is what I want. I want capital ships. I want to be
Yeah,
able to command the biggest, baddest thing in the space. What
Oh,
you
yeah,
just saw
no,
there was a turret blowing up, by the way. We literally dismantled them turret by turret before we finally took them out. But yeah, I I want more of this. I want another Xenothreat event to happen so we can commandeer another Idris and go and do the shit again. Because this is what I have been searching for in all of my Space Sim games.
Yeah, I think capital class warfare really is the future of this game. I feel like people who are convinced fighters are going to be forever are just kidding themselves, honestly. Like, they're going to play their role for sure, but let's be honest, your Gladius is not doing anything to an Idris by itself. It's just not.
I mean,
No.
you can fly inside and self-destruct, but
That's
All-
not going to do anything. to
all you're
Idris.
gonna
Like,
yeah, I was gonna say all you're gonna do is make a mess on the deck.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just tractor beam the wreckage out, and you maybe kill a few crewmen, but that's it.
The funny thing about the
They
ship,
just
though,
respawn on the Idris.
the funny thing about this ship is if you're good enough, you can actually house 8 Scorpiuses inside of that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
That-
if you
that
put
just
us,
reminded me of all the wrecked all the glitched landing gear that if you went near, you're more likely than not to just phase through the ground.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you take this ship here and you put 8 ships inside of it, 8 fighters, imagine how many fighters you can put on the deck and in the hangars of the Kraken.
Oh,
You
yeah,
will
'cause we don't
literally, with 2 ships, carry your entire fighter squadron.
Like, do we even know what the internal hangars are going to look like on the Kraken?
Smalls.
Smalls?
Look like
Okay.
no, but they're smalls.
Okay. Because that's like, is even that like the, how big is the Idris hangar equivalent to?
I mean, if you change the dimensions, probably a medium, but a medium ship won't fit in there. It's too short. Medium ships are too tall. They won't fit, and it's
Yeah.
too narrow. So, to make up for the length, I mean, if you, yeah, I don't know how better to
The
explain
fucking
it.
thing is the length of the Idris, basically. Like,
Yeah, you
they
can put.
shave off like maybe 30 meters, and then that's how long the hangar is.
I mean, quite honestly, if you put Scorpiuses 2 abreast in a row of 4, so you have 4 deep, 2 wide, you'll fit 8 in there easily.
Yeah, like, consider, yeah.
You have to deploy them
Considering
before
how
you get into the
easily it
gunfight,
was.
but yeah.
Yeah, especially considering like how easy it was to like relatively fit them in there as long as you were gentle on the throttle.
So,
Yeah.
um,
I think we kind of ran out of things to talk about. Honestly, we're kind of just
it's
doing
kind of
little
weird.
spurts here and there.
I know it's kind of weird. So next week we'll have another topic. It'll be the same time next week as it is this week and the week before, which will be 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you're a West Coaster, that'll be 3 hours prior to that, so 6, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, I did my math right. And there it is. That's the victory right there. So,
Nice.
um,
And you know, if you're a European time zone, Chris Roberts help you.
right.
Well,
You can do your own
Chris,
math.
well, I was gonna
Yeah.
say Chris Roberts help you because you're in his time zone.
Yeah. This is a good fucking point.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
he
Let
can tell
me
you what time it would be.
find something good to end
let
on.
me call up Chris Roberts real quick. Hey, what time is it?
DM him on Twitter.
All right, so I think I'm gonna end this on the Drake song. We opened with a song, we'll end with a song, and hopefully we can keep up that trend. But all right, so next week we'll have a new topic to talk about. If you want to know what that topic is, obviously join us in the beginning because that's where we're gonna start, and then we will kind of trail off into off topic as we did this time.
Assuming that you can actually hear us being on topic.
Yeah, and Calbeck's not just having another one of his episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, guys. Seriously, stop getting on my John. Don't ask why I
Yes,
said it that
sir.
way. All right. So with that,
I'll,
we'll cut over to the song. We'll watch the rest of this footage, and then we'll fade out. Thanks for sticking it through, you one viewer. Thank you. Unless that's you, Krendor. Fuck you.
It probably is.
But
I've been wanting to look at the chat.
yeah, unfortunately we didn't get any chat interaction this time. Hopefully we get it
Yeah.
next time. I did put
That's totally
our
fine.
link in a few different places this time. Hopefully we can get some more activity next week.
Yeah, we just keep it consistent.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. Do I have... I want to see if I've got that. 11... Nope. Nope. Where is it? Nope. I apparently don't have it. Okay. Well, yep. Drake song it is.
Oh, your AI songs?
Hey, leave them alone. They have feelers too, sort of.
No, they categorically don't, actually. They're made by AI.
I believe by definition they don't.
All right,
They
guys.
are devoid of emotion.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Peace.
Anxiety's a thrill that you know you are alive. Every trip's a gamble, will she survive? Oh, Drake, fix a flight daily, that's the way. Don't forget your wrench, you'll need it every day. Every day. She rattles and shakes, don't lose your nerve. Just add more duct tape, got plenty in reserve. Wires spark, but that's just part of the show. Will she fly today? Well, you never know. Every Drake pilot's got faith so strong, thanking the stars when nothing goes wrong. The thrill of fear every time you fly, holding on tight, praying she'll get you by. Oh, Drake, fix the flight daily, that's the creed. Just one more patch, hope that's all you'll need. She creeps and grows, but still holds air. Yeah, that's a Drake, if you keep up repairs. Don't mind the sparks, they're just part of the charm. And that clinking noise, no cause for alarm. Wire harness swinging like a jungle vine. Just layer on more tape, yeah, you'll be fine. Oh, Drake, fix the flight daily, praise the skies. Every trip's a risk, but she still flies. A miracle on rusty bolts and duct tape dreams. She's falling apart, but really not as bad as it seems. Wires spark, but that's just part of the show. Will she fly today? Well, you never know. Every Drake pilot's got faith so strong, thanking the stars when nothing goes wrong. The thrill of fear every time you fly.